here tonight at this special moment. I am truly honored and thrilled to introduce Professor Mohammed Hassan. Professor Mohammed Hassan is a history professor at Georgia State University. He is a pioneer and distinguished Oromo scholar. He is the author of several contemporary books. He is one of the founders of Oromo Studies Association, OSA. He came all the way from Atlanta, Georgia with his wife to honor Kabane. Professor Mohammed Hassan will be speaking for the next 50 minutes on the contribution of Kabane to Oromo Studies Association, OSA. Please join me in welcoming Professor Mohammed Hassan.
Thank you very much, Nugusa. I'm not sure if I deserve everything you said, but I am truly delighted to be here, especially in the midst of this wonderful family. Let me first start by thanking the organizers of this event. Those of you who really brought all of us here, you have done a wonderful job, and I would really like to thank you. I would also like to thank Kabane's family. I know a little bit how much the unbelievable sacrifice Bill. This young man over here, Braden, he is younger than our son. We have a photo, he and our son, I think it was about the age of 3, and it is in our living room. Every day we see his picture. However, when we came in this afternoon, this evening, and I immediately recognized Molly, his gorgeous wife, because I have seen her countless times. Every time I visit Bonnie's Facebook page, there is a wonderful wedding there. But I could not recognize this young man who is younger than my son. And I am truly, truly delighted, and Bill, for all the sacrifice your father, everyone has really done. The reason I am thanking you is really for your unbelievable support, supporting her with passion so that she follows her passion. Very few people could really make this kind of sacrifice, and thank you. I would also like to thank those of you who came from so many cities in the United States. I see so many friends from Canada, all the way driving from Canada, some flying, and there are so many people from everywhere, and thank you really for coming. Celebrating, Bonnie is celebrating our culture, and thank you for doing that. I cannot follow what Bill said, what Lube said. Let me just focus what I want to share with you on Bonnie's contribution to the development of Oromo Studies Association. And probably 35 years ago, if anyone really talked about Oromo Studies Association, people will say, the person must be out of his mind. It really took a long time for this idea to consolidate. And Kabane, whom we call Kabane, really played unbelievable role in terms of shaping these ideas. Let me explain. Starting from 1980 in Michigan, Bonnie, our late friend Sisa Ibsa, Lube Bru, who earlier talked to us, as well as Dr. Hamde Satuso, for the first time they organized a panel at a major conference on Oromo studies. Before that, there may have been few papers, a single talk about Oromo language or about Gada or this, but for the first time, a full panel at a major conference was organized by Bonnie and her colleagues, and she continued for the next several years, and the idea of the Oromo Studies Association really grew out of that. Let me just add 2 points. I vividly remember in 1984, we organized the Oromo workshop in Berlin, which was our second capital actually, because a Union of Oromo Students in Europe annually gathered in Berlin, and Bonnie came, although I have seen her previously at least 3 times. You may not believe the paper she presented there. There was a standing ovation for 10 minutes after she finished that paper.
Wow.
And the ideas, thank you. The ideas that were articulated in that paper ultimately developed to a major book, The Invention of Ethiopia. And in the same year, the Berlin conference was in June. In August, there was a major conference on the Horn of Africa in Washington, D.C., and Bonnie also organized 2 panels on Oromos then. And I remember presenting, I don't remember what I presented, but I remember being there and talking at that conference. In short, Bonnie truly contributed huge in terms of the Oromo having, the Oromo diaspora, Oromo intellectuals having an organization, and that dream was realized when the Oromo Studies Association was formally recognized, formally established. Why do I mention all this? Bonnie served in the executive committee of Oromo Studies Association at every level, and she helped every OSA president, we call it OSA, Oromo Studies Association, OSA. She helped in the last 3 decades, last 3 decades, we had probably about 12 or 13 Oromo Studies president. And if there is a single OSA president who says, Bonnie did not help me, that man is not telling the truth. She helped every one of them. She helped me for 2 years. She also served in the OSA board of directors. We have board of directors, and she served as the chairperson of the board of directors, as well as a member of board of directors. Even currently, she is a member of the board of directors of the Oromo Studies Association. The second area, Bonnie also greatly contributed to the idea of the Journal of Oromo Studies. Remember, that idea grew from the Oromo Studies Association, and that journal was ultimately realized. Why do I mention this? Bonnie immensely contributed to the development of the journal itself. Any scholarly organization is always judged by the quality of scholarship, the association produces, and that quality depends on peer-reviewed articles. Bonnie not only contributed and then contributes articles, she reviews so many papers actually. Whenever there are articles, there are few of us who will be willing to review. I may take one, Iskel may take one or two. Bonnie will sacrifice everything to review either 2 or 3, or you may not believe how much time it takes to review papers that are badly written. And Bonnie has unbelievable patience, really, to deal with this aspect. She served as the editor of the Journal of Oromo Studies, helped every editor of the Journal of Oromo Studies. If there is a single editor of Oromo Studies, Journal of Oromo Studies, who says, I did not receive any help from Bonnie, that person is not telling the truth. I'm just telling you. My last point is in terms of the Oromo Studies Association has conferences. Years ago, we used to have a single annual conference, and most of our conferences were held here in Washington, D.C. area. Imagine who will rent the conference hall, who will form the local organizing committee, who will make arrangement for lunch, sometimes even for social activities like music in the evening. Essentially, Bonnie is really involved in terms of making the annual conference very successful. There is absolutely no doubt. Probably about 18 conferences have been held in this city, and thank you for carrying all those, Bonnie. Probably about 12 years ago, an idea of having a mid-year conference started. Who do you think started that idea? Over here. And then there are others, of course, Professor Iskel, who is with us. There are a number of others. When the idea of mid-year conference started, I was not really convinced because we attend the African Studies Association, wherever there are another annual conferences, and then Oromo Studies Association. It took me a while to realize the wisdom of having the mid-year conference. What the mid-year conference actually did for OSA is to democratize, to take our conferences to so many cities, actually. The annual conferences mainly are held in this city, and then Toronto, Minneapolis, Atlanta, and then only once in Seattle. The mid-year conference take our organization to so many places. Let me just give you 2 examples, and then I will be done. In 2015, the Oromo Studies Association mid-year conference was held in Munich. There were over 700 people in attendance from all over Europe. People really came, basically for that. Without that idea of mid-year conference, it would have been not possible. And last year, we had mid-year conference at the London School of Economics, which was, again, very successful. This year, the mid-year conference will be in Norway, and the president of Oromo Studies Association is sitting over there. And the whole idea of having mid-year conference is really wonderful, and we are thankful for that. Let me say the last 2 things and finish. For us, I'm not exaggerating. I become emotional. Bonnie is a special gift for us. She is a gift for the Oromo Studies Association, a gift for the Oromo people. And she is also the voice of the voiceless, basically the voice of the voiceless. She started talking in the name of the people who are oppressed back home at the time when the entire world never paid any attention, and she has still continued. The Oromo Studies Association writes numerous letters to the President, State Department, United Nations, Union of African Studies, European Parliament, and so on. I don't ever remember a single letter that was sent without Bonnie making contribution to her. She is basically the lifeline of the Oromo Studies Association. Thank you, thank you. Let me end by saying, may God give you the life of your father, the whole family, this wonderful life, and definitely you have a wonderful gene, a very good gene, and you will be very strong. And thank you so very much.
galatoma haati manaa isaanii irree wajjin dhufanii mee harkanuudhaa fi baaloo.
There is also a sister from there who said, if there is something about Bonnie, I will even go to the moon.
Please give her a hand.